Okay, guys, I'm here today with Matheus Diniz on our BJJ Fanatics Podcast. Huge honor to have you here with us, Matheus.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, Matheus just won the ADCC 2019, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so he's now the best 80 kilos grappler in the world. So first of all, Matheus, thanks so much for being here with us. And Matheus, tell us. I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, but let's start from the ADCC. So tell us a little bit about how was that day?
Man, what's amazing, it's definitely the biggest tournament in worlds, but ADCC was a different atmosphere. I was very happy and excited to be on it, and to win was like a dream coming true. I always dreaming to be competing at ADCC and also be able to win was incredible. Those 2 days was crazy. It's crazy. The weigh-ins, it's like everything there is crazy. The matches, from the weigh-ins to the matches, is like a crazy tournament. It's really exciting.
Got it. And guys, Matheus was probably the person I trained the most in my life, or at least the top 2 or 3. I lived in New York City for 4 years, and we would do 4, 5, 6, 7 rolls per day.
That was a nightmare.
And but Matheus, one thing that called me the attention a lot about you competing in the ADCC, and that I would love to talk with you about that if you feel comfortable about it. But you were that athlete that you would always get very close, right? You got third place in the worlds 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
You placed in the Pan Ams as well. You worlds no gi, you got second.
Yeah.
So you were almost there, but you haven't won that type of tournament yet. So what would go on your mind when you were competing all these tournaments? How would you think? I bet there are many more people who almost have done something than the amount of people that actually have done something. So tell us a little bit about that.
You're right. So that's one thing I always had in my mind. Doesn't matter. I was always working hard. You know me. I learned a lot from you. I tell that to everyone. In training, not just in training, outside, try and do everything right. So I knew in my head I know I have the potential to be the best. I train really hard. I train with great people, and I always knew when I'm competing was always off. I always need that little more. It wasn't a technique, wasn't technical, wasn't cardio, wasn't nothing. That was just my mentality. It was just my mind. It was something holding me back, and I'm strong believe I never gave my 100% in the tournament. I don't think I ever done. So I was a big believer that I just got to keep working and I got to be working on the right things. I already have a really tough training. I really have a good gym to be. So what I'm missing? So and then I started to I started to go for a sports psychiatrist. I've been doing that since
psychology.
Yeah. So I've been doing that since the beginning of the year, and it's one thing that really helping me with the training that I do. And sometimes he says some stuff. I'm like, oh man, how I never thought that.
Yeah.
How I never thought about that, and that been helping me a lot. And also one thing that helps me a lot, I never stop believing. I just keep believing. It's you're just gonna keep doing, and at some point, I don't want to have a regret. That's what I was thinking. I'm giving my best. I'm trying to do my best. Of course, I want to win, but I don't want to have the regret that even if I don't win, I'm sure I'm comfortable to myself to say all right, I tried my best. I didn't win, but I tried my best. So and that's one thing I like to have in my mind. It's your dream is almost dead when you give up. So I never give up. So I'm just keep going. And I feel after the ADCC, my mind is way more clear. I took a lot of the pressure off me. I feel now even when I'm go back to compete, I think that's gonna help me a lot because I don't have that.
You don't have that pressure.
Much pressure. I should have pressure on me, but not a lot of pressure to prove to everybody because I don't. In the end of the day, we don't need to prove to people. We're proving for us.
I got it.
So
yeah. So guys, Matheus, I always tell everybody he's probably the toughest guy ever competed in my life. And we would always discuss man, how he's not winning those tournaments because he would beat everybody else in the school bad. And then in the tournament he would do well, but as he said, would not be the 100% that he knew he could reach. And it was not because he was not trying, but something was holding him back. That was clear.
Was off, yeah.
So I didn't know about that. So you started psychologist this year?
Yeah, this year, in the beginning of the year. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I was actually thinking about you, Marcelo. I was like, man, they do so well. Of course, they train really hard, but when I see, because both of you guys was the guys I keep in training, they have more titles. So I learned a lot from you guys, not just in competition. I was taking the mindset that both of you guys have. I had a pleasure to, like before Worlds, I stay with you in your hotel room. I see all your preparation, not just in the gym, but also before training, also before competing. I'm sorry. So I was thinking that. So I was like, I train. Not understand me wrong, guys. I don't think no one can train like Bernardo, because this guy training was insane. So I trained hard, not like it. But I was like, man, I'm training a lot. So what is off? So I was seeing from Bernardo and Marcelo, it's their mindset. So I was like, man, I think it's my mindset is not in the right place. And I knew it, because when I was competing, I was trying to focus about everything. Like, oh man, if this happened, oh, even this, I mean, like 1 month before the tournament, I don't need to worry about that like a month before. So I gotta think about my preparation, not about the tournament. So those things I was like, so you know what? Let me go for a psychiatrist, then one of the guys from the gym, he's a 2 times on America, Tim Foley. He's like, oh man, I know a really good guy. I was like, all right, so let me give it a try. And then I end up going to him, Ben awesome. Oliver. He's an amazing guy. He's like helping me a lot.
So what's his name?
Ben Oliver. Yeah. Cool. He's like actually
works from New York City.
Yeah, he's from New York. It actually worked out pretty well, because his office is literally like 3 minutes from the gym. So I finish train and I go straight up talk with him. It's been helping me a lot.
No, that's awesome. And so this year, for example, tell us about you fought you did a bunch of super fights that you got great results, right?
Yeah, I did like this year. That's one other thing I was focusing on. I tried to be very active. So before Worlds, I was competing a lot, IBJJF Opens. I was able to win all, and I had 2 super fights against 2 world champions, Gustavo Batista and Gabriel Arges. So I was able to win against Gustavo, and I had a really close match against Gabriel. I ended up losing, but it was a ref's decision, so couldn't go both ways. I don't judge the judges, if you don't want to live on the same judge, you should do your job. So I had those 2 super fights before Worlds, and also a lot of competitions before. And then I got third at Worlds. I lost for Felipe Preguiça in the same finals. It was a close match. Man, he's an amazing competitor. Sorry, he's an amazing competitor. So I ended up losing for him at 2-0. And then after that, I was like, all right. So, and then I knew already I was invited for ADCC. So I was like, okay, so now it's time to get a lot of super fights and no gi.
Got it.
We didn't have any tournaments, but I got 2 super fights against Craig Jones and Josh Hinger. Ended up fighting them at ADCC.
Yeah, I remember.
So first I fought Craig at Third Coast Grappling. I was able to win by points, and I think I took him down. So, and then after, I went to Brazil for a couple of months for see my family, my daughter. And I came back. I had a super fight against Craig Jones. No. Against Craig. No, against Josh. So
Josh
Craig
Hinger.
was first. I'm sorry. So I had it against Josh. I was at Kasai in Atlantic City. So I was able to get a submission against him. And then after that, we fought in DCC. So I tried to stay as busy as I could.
I got it. So and you're talking about wrestling as well, right?
Yeah. That's one thing. Another thing I'm not saying just helping my stand up. And you've done wrestling as well, helped me a lot at my jiu-jitsu. Not just the technique point, but also my mind game, the mindset. And wrestling, you cannot stop. So I'm trying to put that mindset in the jiu-jitsu.
Got it.
Passing someone's guard, I'm keeping that pressure, I'm keeping moving forward. And that's one thing I felt was helping me a lot at ADCC. I'm keeping the constant pressure, and not just ADCC in my matches before. So I've been wrestling since before World. So being almost 6 or 7 months at Edge in Hoboken. You've been there.
Yep.
You were there. Awesome people. I want to say thank you for Joe and all the guys there. So they helped me a lot. They're really nice with me. So I'm very, very blessed for having them. They give me a lot of attention. They help me. So yeah, wrestling is another.
Yeah. So the two different things that you did this year from before was the psychologist and the wrestling.
And wrestling, yeah.
No,
and
that's
wrestling,
awesome.
Yeah, that was.
And the one thing that I know how is it because I lived there for 4 years, but I bet like a bunch of the listeners might be very curious about that. Mm-hmm. How is training for Marcelo? So.
Oh man, like that's a funny story. I even told you yesterday. So before ADCC, I was like, my last training session at the gym was with Marcelo with the gi. Man, I was like, he was all over me. He beat me up pretty bad. Man, Marcelo is just. I'm very. It's tough for me to say because people are like not gonna. Oh, he's his students, but man, he's different. He got that special thing. He's one in a million.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the way he thinks about jiu-jitsu, about technique. His jiu-jitsu is like so organized. You know, he don't waste energy.
Yeah,
everything he does is so precise. So, and going through like an ADCC training with him is like the way he talked to me about it. Like, I'm comfortable saying like, man, I don't like the way he thinks in competition. It's like it's insane. You know, like the way he's like, man, you gotta fight since the first second of the match. It's like not a lot of fighters do that. Yeah, not a lot of people do that. No stopping. His mindset is. It's different. Also, his technique is incredible. He's like, again, like we say, he doesn't waste energy. Everything he does is so precise.
Yeah,
it's insane. And then before he decided a chance to train with him, we train almost every day. You know, he trains every day. But right before I go, the day before, I was like, oh man, I'm ready. I was like questioning myself. I know every chain is different.
Yeah, I remember the year I won the double gold in the worlds as well. One of my last trainings was with Marcelo because it's always like in that Monday that's the holiday, right?
Yeah, the holiday.
And he kicked my ass like bad. And I was asking myself, like, how am I gonna ever win this open class if I just lost middleweight? Or medium heavy, wherever. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
but Matheus, still talking about Marcelo. So. You guys are from the same town in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Which is Formiga,
right? Formiga, yeah. It's the state of Minas Gerais, yeah. You're from Minas as well.
Yeah, and then Marcelo brought you to United States, right? So tell us like a little bit about that.
Yeah, so he always used to go, he doesn't go as much as now, but back in the day he used to go a lot to Formiga, our hometown. And he used to train with my old coach, Rodrigo Ranieri.
Yeah.
He's like a close friend of his. So I remember he used to fight, he was into MMA, was by that time. And then he used to go to the gym, and I didn't even know who he was. Everybody like, oh, Marcelo Garcia's coming here. I was like, oh, who's this guy, you know? So I was yellow belt. You know, when you're yellow belt, you're a kid, you're like, oh man, who's this guy? Everybody, I want to train with him. You had no idea. I just want to train. And he would have trained with me. And then I got there. I remember I saw him, he was in the corner. And he was training like with all those black belts from the gym. Back then it was like 3 guys. So they were all training. I was like, oh man, I want to train. But I remember I was working. I used to work when I was young, like in this like a parking lot in Brazil. So I was like, oh, I just had like a breakfast, like a lunch, like a snack break. We had that in Brazil in the afternoon. I was like, oh man, I got my bike. I ran to watch him train. I was like, oh man, that's the guy. I was like, he's so small. I was like, who's that guy, you know? I was like, okay, I guess he's good. And then I went back home. And back in the day, like that was like 2010, 2009, something like that. And I was like, man, I didn't have computers. So I went to like, in Brazil, we have these coffee places where you can get in the phone.
Yeah.
So I went and I YouTubed him. I was like, oh man, he's from Formiga. I was like, it's a small seat. I was like, oh man, this guy's legit. And then he went back to the United States. And then I got my blue belt. He came back, and then I had a pleasure training him. He invited me, and then he's like, "Oh man, why don't you come to the United States and compete?" I didn't get my visa when I was blue belt. I got it when I was a purple, like a year after, and then he was inviting me to.
Yeah, making the numbers. I think that was probably even earlier than 2010. It was probably 2008 or so.
I think it's 2008, 2009. Yeah, because I started the end of 2008 to 2009. I started training.
Got it.
Yeah, it was around that time.
Oh, God. So then you came to New York City when you were 8. The first time you came was when you were 18 years old or something like that, right?
I was purple belt, 18, yeah.
And then you went back to Brazil, and then you came back again?
And then I came back again. So I was here for like 6 months. I came to do the Worlds, and then No. So I went back to Brazil because I came with tourist visas, like 6 months. So I then came back to Brazil. And then I came back again for more 6 months. So, and then I was supposed to stay, but then I ended up hurting my knee.
Got it.
And then I had health insurance back then, and then Marcelo was like, so just go back, treat your knee, and then come back. And I went back to Brazil, ended up like was nothing on my knee, and then I had to do.
And now, so now you teach and train at Marcelo's.
Yeah.
And one thing that you were strong as hell, but you never use it to do physical conditioning, right?
No, I don't.
And you still like that?
Yeah, I'm still like that. I'm not, it's like I like to tell people, like, people are like, oh, it's because Marcelo. It's just a coincidence because he don't like it and I also don't like it.
I got it.
And people are like, oh, but you don't think it's good? I don't say that because it's very personal. Everybody's different. In jiu-jitsu, you gotta do whatever you feel comfortable. I wouldn't change. I wouldn't let you train jiu-jitsu to work out. If I would I would do workout as an extra. But I've never done. I sometimes, like, if I get hurt a little bit, I'm like, oh, I cannot train jiu-jitsu. Let me work out. But
and lately, how much have you been training? Is like before the ADCC, for example, it's like how many times per day or how many times per week? Or
like I like to do the same thing as I used to do.
So you train twice a
day, yeah.
Plus you are adding the wrestling.
Plus the wrestling. Like when I do wrestling, so I train. So the rest is at night.
Okay.
So I train in the morning and then teach a couple classes, and then at night I go wrestling. So I only can wrestle once a week because teaching and stuff. So I can only wrestle once a week. So, but still, like when I go there, it's like 2 hours class. I really try being on it. It's helping me a lot too.
No, I got it. And then, and guys, we just shot an entire structural video here with Matheus, all about guard passing. So you pretty much won the ADCC playing like a top game, right?
Yeah.
Did you end up on board at any time in the tournament?
No, I didn't end up. No one score, so I was end up on top.
You didn't get scored in the entire tournament,
no.
And you were on top
the whole time. Yeah.
So guys, we made this entire instructional video with Matheus about guard passing. So tell us a little bit about the instruction. What did you teach? What did you show? And
so again, thank you guys for BJJ Fanatics. Thank you, Bernardo, you, Mike. You guys are awesome. Thank the guys that helped film me and make that happen. So it's pretty much like everybody who watching and who knows me know my game is very simple. Yep. I try keep it simple. I'm not fancy, and I try to keep everything simple and precise. Like I have a good control, staying tight. That's what I try to do. So it was pretty much all that, like a guard passing, open and close guard, and already going straight up to a pass and open close guard, and make sure your legs are safe because when you come up, your legs are in the picture, and also passing open guard. There's a lot of Z guard is a position a lot of guys are doing now for attacking leg logs, or awesome to connect with sweeps. I'll instruct for half guard, all the passes, everything I really like to do. So I put everything there, no hiding anything. So I believe it was a really good DVD, and I hopefully help a lot of people. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, so guys, Matheus is the type of guy that he has a very simple game. Like when he's on board, you pretty much play half guard, right?
Yeah.
And no, he probably some butterfly.
A little bit butterfly guard, yeah.
And when he's on top, it's all about I would say quick passings, right?
Yeah, quick passing.
I love the one you do from no gi, for example, when you're passing. It's almost like a no-gi toreano that you place the hand on the belly and you just touch the knee and you fall on the side. And so it's all it's positions that are very, very simple, but that everybody can do it. So there's nothing complicated there. And as you can see, it's been working very, very well. So, and Matheus, what's next now? What's your plan?
So this year, I think I'm pretty much done, because I have a couple seminars to do. I'm going to Greece and Sweden for seminars in December. And then after that, I'm going to come back and spend New Year's and Christmas. And then next year, I'm going to do the same thing as I did this year. I'm going to try to compete as much as I can. I think in February, I have a super fight. Kasai, we're still working on who I'm going to compete against. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. It's going to be no-gi. And I'm going to try to be very busy next year, competing. I'm going to try to do as much as seminars as I can now. So next year I can really focus again in competition because I really, one of my biggest dreams is win the worlds with the gi. And again, I don't know if I'm going to win, but trust me, I'm going to work as much as I can. I'm going to do everything so I can make that happen,
So, you have a huge chance.
Thank you. I'm really going to focus on that the first semester next year. And then whatever's coming. You never know. We're always training. Super fights can come like, oh, you want to do this? It's like this. So we always got to be ready and make it happen.
No, I got it. And I think nowadays as well, like you got to take advantage that jiu-jitsu is finally paying money, right? So you can. I think if you want, you can almost like do super fights every weekend anywhere in the world. With
making some good money.
Yes, I agree. And
it's crazy.
And I think that's only growing. And how old are you?
I'm 27.
Yeah, so you probably have more like 10 years.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like
on this road, right?
Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
It's getting better. Like jiu-jitsu is getting so bigger. It's, like every year past, like more super fights, and like you say, finally the athletes can start making a living off of just competing
in jiu-jitsu. Not only
teaching. Like you gotta. I love teaching. It's like one of my favorite things. I love being there. Like I give all my energy for the students, but don't understand me wrong. It's tough to teach and competing. I'm very lucky because at Marcelo's we have a lot of instructors.
That's what I would say. Like I lived in New York, right, for 4 years, right, teaching and training Marcelo's, and I think the beauty of training there is one that you have someone to learn, right? You can learn from Marcelo. That was huge for me. You have a teacher. Two, that you can teach and train at the same time, right? You can almost like you're training, but you are also sharing techniques and things like that. But you have like one of the best trainings in the world while you are teaching.
I
think that's very special. Like very few people can do that. Can do both.
Because that's like you see a lot of guys like, oh man, I teach a lot, but they do only teaching, and then they have to make another time to train.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like you say, it's a good point. Like we're lucky we have that, like a good train, and then we can also teach and train, and also we have a lot of all the instructors, so we can, like me and Marcos, because we're the more active guys competing there, so we also can make a balance, like make our schedule. Marcelo give us that option to make our schedule, so we can combine teaching and training to compete, so we're very blessed.
And how is the training there? Like,
it's tough. It's getting tougher and tougher. So we have Marcos, man, amazing guy. Like Marcos, like he's like his mind, his game, very technical. And we have we have Vinicius Trator.
Got second in ADCC.
Got second in ADCC. Man, really, really tough kid. Really tough, big. And then the lower belts, like he's sure the higher belts. We have Gianni. He's like a featherweight, but man, he's really good. Good training. We have Atos Miranda. He's a lightweight, but he's a really strong lightweight, really big lightweight. Great guard, great passing. We have lower belts, Matheus Diniz, man. That kid's been winning everything at the lower belts. Man, we have so many other guys. We're doing really good. Pretty good, and everybody together, everybody helping each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
we miss you there a lot, trust me.
Yeah, guys, that's probably like one of the favorite years that I ever had in my life. So such a good environment, like all of them, like there's like Marcelo, Paul, Joe,
everybody.
man, it's such a Philzinho.
It's
such a good environment. I always say like that it should be part of like everybody who goes to New York City should drop one day at Marcelo's as well, because it's such a good environment and good people. But Matheus, man, thanks so much for the interview.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate your time and everything. I know you guys are busy.
We're gonna be cheering.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.